Okay. Yeah, I'll give a little disclaimer at the beginning. My internet thing is unstable. That's a problem too. We'll see how it works. That's one thing. Right now I'm in Kerala on a once in a lifetime health retreat. Kind of treated myself. But getting here, I had to go 4.5 hours from Mayapur. Then it wasn't expensive somehow, so I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express. It's 3 minutes from the airport. And then the next day I left, and you got to go to Chennai, and then you wait, and then you go to Cochin, and then it's another 2.5 hours to the retreat center. And then, I had such a nice time in Mayapur and such affection. So many people cooked for me, but it wasn't a planned menu. Each person, no matter what, it was the salad or the calzones or the sabji or this, it all had cheese in it. And I was so hungry after traveling. So yeah. And one of the time I got ill in India, because I'm usually so healthy, it was traveling. And 2 things happened. I was preaching and people gave me heavy food and someone who touched my feet. And that's the same thing that happened now. Plus, my left eye was twitching for about 3 weeks. So I was trying to figure it out. It's actually a science. Omens is actually a science. It's like a car. It's like a car. When you don't wear a seatbelt, there's a sign. So the world has, it's like a car. Omens, I'm talking about. My left eye was just twitching, and I said, well, what's going on? And I think this is it. I got sick coming into the retreat, but I have to say, it's a first-class place. Bhaktivedanta Swami, who I went with, picked it out. And 1 second, let me get something. And the culture of a place is not, I mentioned this many times, it's not what you say it is. It's how people feel when coming. I don't think it was because I was Maharaj, but I came and from South Indian, made some flower bouquet and lit the ghee lamp. And then immediately they told me if I wanted a massage, which was God sent. So I did that. And then immediately I had a consultation with the doctor to set up a program while I'm here. So excuse me if I end a little bit earlier than I usually do. Say one other thing is, when I was in India and there was a lot of sickness, I started to study nature cure. And nature cure posits that the diseases are not caused by the germs. The primary cause condition of your body that allows them to fester. He had a whole book, he even had a story that he wanted to prove it. So he ate junk. It's a wild story for a month because he could get leprosy. Germs couldn't. And then he got it, and then he killed himself. So I was kind of convinced. And after that trip where I ate the wrong thing and someone touched my foot, I got malaria. And I followed it as best I can. I couldn't do all the yoga exercises, but explained that if you that if you clean out the malaria virus won't have any place to fester. And then they said that it's intermittent fever. It's every other day where you get sick. But if you clean your intestines, some enemas and some fasting. I actually fasted for 10 days on just water. They said the fevers would come closer and you'll have one big fever. One big fever. It was. So I felt bad from the food, and I could feel that kind of fluish type thing where your body's not working. Immediately I began to fast. I fasted for let's see how long I fasted. That's 24. So let's see if we can continue here with the Caitanya-bhāgavata, and I do thank all of you for coming, even though the class may be a little shorter. Five. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kata, dina, thāki, prabhu, advaitera, ghare, āilā, kumārahaṭṭa-śrīvāsa-mandire. After staying a few days in the house of Advaita, the Lord went to the house of Śrīvāsa Paṇḍita in Kumārahaṭṭa. So the renunciate, he visits the houses of the grihasta, generally. Okay, I'll get a different room. Be here for reasons. It's a single bed in the woods, but it doesn't seem that it has the bandwidth. So I'm using my phone. So the sadhu only has one objective, and that is to enlighten people. He atmaramas chamunayo nigranant upyukrame kovaidahaktakimba. Atmaramas chamuna, he's thoughtful and he's atmaram, he's self-satisfied. So there's no material motive. Staying for the milking of the cow. Indicates that he's just getting a little milk. Because the sadhu focus their minds on bhajan, and they don't engage in any type of material activity, so they maintain themselves. Or they can be a paramahamsa. Paramahamsa means like a python. He stays in a tree. He may wait a whole month, and if there's some animal, he goes down, strangles it, and swallows it, and goes. That's frustrating as it is for you. Seems to be coming back. So he stays just for the milking. He has no motive, like the or you can beg or like a python. You just wait until God sends you food. Ayendra used to do that some kartik. He wouldn't tell people, but he would wait until food came, and that was the only food that he ate. So we get to view Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's listening a meditation on Krishna. Maybe about 20 years ago, students according to deities, I had a little room on the top of what was called Satsuru Maharaj's house. He was so kind. And we did that function. I remember what Ram Roy said, and I think he said, you try to get a deity, what's in your heart. You see externally manifest what's in your heart. So, and there's definitely a connection with it by the transit. Sorry about this. This is the way to say. Then there's the transcendental system, the super soul. This is the guru, external manifestation of super soul. The transcendental system, when you pray in your heart for sadhu Sanga, Krishna hears it. This is the transcendental session. He hears it. He hears your heart, and he sees someone else sincere heart who is compassionate and learned, and then makes that arrangement for that person to come. This is one of the most important aspects of bhakti, our prayers, because they can least it's merciful, it goes on. So yeah, this is the transcendental. It's very important. Prayers, sadhus are practically the most important part of spiritual life, because that's the most important thing in spiritual life. Śrīvāsa was sitting in meditation on Krishna when he suddenly saw the object of his meditation. Okay. Seeing the Lord of his life, Śrīvāsa Paṇḍita fell to the ground, offering obeisances. So this is an anubhav, there's some thought to it, but it's quite spontaneous. It's quite spontaneous because there's so much love and energy of praying. Situation of my that the way the internet is work, we'll go to 10 more minutes. So he pays obeisances, and it's not just a physical action, it's an emotion, and it's a deep emotion for him. And dandavat, that indicates falling down, because it's like a rod. A rod is straight, not like a stick, it's like a rod, a danda. Danda means a pole. So he falls down straight. Śrīvāsa Paṇḍita held the Lord's lotus feet, his chest, and sighed deeply as he cried loudly. Says, for a devotee meeting his Lord, we can't imagine what the power of that prema is, what it feels like with someone at the level of Śrīvāsa Paṇḍita. Sundar embraced Śrīvāsa and soaked his body with tears of ecstatic love. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, everyone in Śrīvāsa's household was most pious. They all raised their arms and cried on seeing the Lord. So if a person in a family is Krishna conscious, it can have a tremendous effect. Like one flower can make fragrant the whole room, a magnolia. So, and then there's the karma that people are born into these families. Happiness bound. He brought a fine seat on head and offered it to the lotus-eyed Lord, who sat down. So I saw here how they greeted me with all information immediately, so organized. So what to speak of a saintly person? When I was in Mayapur, there's one lady she's married to kind of a GBC, Contia. He's Italian. And she's a South Indian Brahmin from Madhva family, which was very courageous for her to join. Her name is Radha Govinda. So she invited me to her house for prasadam. And, you know, her whole culture, the flowers, the odling, the sitting me down, talking. So remember what culture is. Culture is things we do to conform our life to something higher than ourselves. The chaste ladies of the house vibrated auspicious sounds. And Śrīvāsa's entire house became filled with ecstasy. When Acharya Purandara heard that the Lord had arrived at Śrīvāsa Paṇḍita's house, he immediately came there. So they didn't need internet because there's Maya Sakaya. Maya Sakaya means for every step in advancement, there's a step back. So with the invention of modern transportation, now you have, one child living in California, parents living in Calcutta. And, the only way is this media, but why did they need it when these were villages? And all the people that were around, they had personal relationships with. They had personal relationships with them. So it's Maya Sakaya, for every step forward, we take a step back, and we can actually see that. If you read my Monday morning greeting, The Social Dilemma, I tried to explain that. Acharya Purandara was most fortunate. He began to try uncontrollably on seeing the Lord. I'm wondering if this is Pundari Vidyanidhi, but there's he was the father, he was Rishabhanu. Come in. Oh, I got to go out one second. What? You got to take your class, right? Give me that one because I still have a little of the other. Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Seva sadhaka rupena, siddha rupena, chatrahi, every perfected person in Krishna Lila, sarva, verse I chant 100 times, but siddha rup, sadhaka rup. The siddha rup is in Krishna Lila, the sadhaka rup form as a perfected practitioner is in Gaur Lila. Upon seeing the Lord addressed him, okay, at that moment, Advaita and various other associates headed by Shivananda Sena arrived there. So these are special. Vasudeva was known for his compassion. Being a devotee means compassion, because if you don't have compassion, you're only thinking of yourself. But Vasudeva was exceptionally compassionate. Vasudeva was most dear to the Lord. By the Lord's mercy, he knew the conclusive truth. The entire world, passionate to all living entities, intoxicated by the love of Lord Chaitanya. This is, he did not find Chaitanya. Matsara, Dira Jana Priya. They're worshipful because they don't have envy, and therefore everybody is inclined towards them. He had appropriate love and respect for the Supreme Lord and the Vaishnavas. When Gaurasundara saw Vasudeva, he embraced him and cried profusely. So the Lord is the object of love for the devotee, and the devotee is the object of love for the Lord. And that, I make this point, and I think it's very valid. With the Lord, the Lord is a supreme enjoyer, and he enjoys love of the devotees. You enjoy love most from those whom you love. So the Lord loves his devotees. And he cried profusely when he saw him. Vasudeva grabbed the Lord's lotus feet and began to cry very loudly. Who was not affected by the crying of Vasudeva? Even persons with hearts as hard as dry wood or stone would be moved to tears. So one's emotions are contained. One's heart is contained in one's emotions. So when you have someone with this compassion, it's just very, very moving. I remember when I was in Tuaco, and this one very saintly Indian man who we all loved, named Krishna Mohan, asked me for initiation, and he fell at my feet and he was crying. And then Raj Kishore said, now I know what it means that your devotion is breaking my heart. I think that's when Rupa and Sanatana came to see Lord Chaitanya. He said, your emotion, your devotion is breaking my heart. It really has an effect. Okay, I did my best. Munajaya, you want to share anything?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for soldiering on and giving class, and I pray that you'll feel better really soon. I love so many points in this class. But I really love that what you said about being a devotee means to be compassionate, because without compassion, you're only thinking of yourself. It was such a nice, short, concise way.
When I said that, I thought that was a good mantra. When I said that, I thought that was a good mantra. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Thank
anybody
you,
else like to say hello? Okay, you're all compassionate to me, so for today, we can end it early,
Hare
and
Krishna
I'll take
Maharaj.
rest.
This is
Oh,
Yashaman.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for the
Thank you.
prayer.
Nice to see you. Okay,
Thank
Hare
you
Bo.
very much. Hare Bo.
One
Hare
more
Krishna.
person wants to say hello.
Hare Krishna
Who's
Maharaj.
that?
Surya Radhika Devi.
Okay, good. I
Thanks.
know who you are. Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else?
Maharaj,
Hare
this is
Krishna Maharaj.
Amalata Radha.
Shankishore Das.
You're on your way to the beach?
No, we are here in front of a hospital. We
Oh.
came with a friend that is going under a complicated
Intervention.
procedure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's pray for him. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, bunch of couple. Okay, I'm gonna turn off now because bunch of culprit for this.